button.
Otherworldly
And there's no pictures to prove shit.
Oh.
They're here.
They got nothing on me, man.
It's alive! It's alive!
Okay, my best friend. Hey.
Otherworldlyculture.com presents Dead On Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations. You're listening to Otherworldly Culture presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight, we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on Otherworldlyculture.com. And on future select Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, you can join our live chat at that time by clicking on Live Shows link on Otherworldlyculture.com's website or joining us here at Twitch. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the land of lakes and landfills, beautiful and smelly Muskego, Wisconsin. And it's my honor to introduce the Faculty of Fear panel presenting tonight's special features. Come on, there we go. First, we have Adam Holtzapfel. He's our hardcore otherworldly culture columnist, and he won't brag, but he is, in fact, the Taco King. Adam will slice and dice twice his film feast and menu of madness for us on tonight's celluloid entry to cellulite. Hello, Adam.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on the show. Coming back, she's been in over 11 films, including a film that can now be seen everywhere this year, Family Possessions, and on Amazon Prime, A Nun's Curse. She is now a good friend of the show with numerous appearances here, and it's a thrill to have her on the show again with us tonight. She's Tracey de Leon. Hello, Tracey.
Hey, Tim. Hey, Adam and Mike. Hi, guys.
Hey, Tracey. And last and least, we have little Mikey Exler. He's back again today as our denizen of the dismal, the purveyor of the putrid. That exciting exclaimer of glorious gloom wrestling up from his stony tomb. He's the monster, the mad ghoul, the glad, and that sack of mumbling, moaning pus that barfs out baloney. He's our very own panel-purveying provocateur, Coach Michael Exler.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to get the gang together on a Tuesday night, and we're going to do something terrible here. So keep your ass in your seat, sharpen your pencil, and let's get unruly with the Faculty of Fear. Everybody ready for tonight's show?
Yes.
Sure.
Fantastic.
I'm ready to rumble, Tim.
What?
I'm ready to rumble. Let's
You're
go.
ready to rumble. Well, we're not going to have you fight, but we might turn to that at some point later in the program. Let's start off. Let's give Adam a shot here. Adam, what have you been watching?
I did the Frozen Dead. Now, depending on where you look, this came out in 1966 or 1967. Clocks in at an hour and a half. The notable cast is Dana Andrews and Anna Pauk. Can't say I'm too familiar with either of them because this movie is way before my time. Takes place 20 years after World War II. Nazis living in London because that's where Nazis go after World War II. Kind of plays on the whole, what if some heads of the Third Reich did survive and relocated. So you have Dr. Norberg, who's spent the last 20 years trying to revive frozen Nazis to bring the Third Reich back to power.
Mm-hmm.
Seems plausible.
Yeah,
It did happen.
you know, I think they used Walt Disney's head in one scene because it's frozen. Ted Williams, maybe. But, yeah, so you have
Is
Carl
Simon Phoenix there?
Now, do
So
you
you
know,
have,
by the way, before you go further, Dana Andrews, you know what his biggest horror credit is, right? Curse of the
is
Demon?
it the Frozen Dead?
No, it's Curse of the Demon, made by, was it Jacques Tourneur or whatever his name was? That was a pretty good movie, but probably Dana Andrews is probably best known for the best years of our lives, which came out just after World War II. But Dana Andrews was already kind of in his declining career by the time this one came out. But he was a big leading man, so they put some money behind this movie.
Yeah, and they
I've
had
never heard.
Karl Stepanek playing General Lubeck. He is the only one with probably a real German accent throughout the film.
Okay.
Yeah, he tells Dana Andrews' character that there's 1,500 like higher up Nazi party members frozen in various caverns, and that he wants to revive them. But the issue is he needs a living brain to experiment on, and that's when he kills his niece's friend and uses her head as a living brain. So this is pretty much a mix of The Brain That Wouldn't Die, Frankenstein, and Nazi paranoia. To just
put them all in a big jar and shake them up, and this is what you get, huh?
I'd go more with a blender because the disembodied head can also control frozen Nazi arms telepathically.
Okay.
Because why the fuck wouldn't that be possible in this film?
Now,
yeah. So
did Edward Fox, did he show up in this movie as prisoner number 3? It's saying here.
I know Red Fox did not show up in this movie. That would have made it better. But yeah. Yeah, I believe Edward Fox was prisoner number 3.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Edward Fox is best known. He played the Jackal in the original Day of the Jackal, which is an excellent movie for folks that like thrillers. That is a great movie. But it looks like this movie, this is the movie where people are starting their careers or ending their careers, from what I'm seeing here.
Or their careers never left this film. So, yeah.
This is how bad it is. The director of this movie, he does have a Wikipedia page. Oh, yeah, but it's one paragraph long.
Is that bad for
paragraph
Wikipedia?
director
One paragraph
Wikipedia.
is bad?
It is when you're a director.
Okay.
Oh, wait, he made The Fiend Without a Face? Holy cow. Have you guys ever seen Fiend Without a Face?
No. I've heard of it.
That is one of those movies that you would not believe is real unless you see it, because I can explain it. He just wrote it. He didn't direct it. That makes sense. It's kind of a big movie. Throughout like the first half of the movie, this invisible thing is killing people, and you don't know what it is until halfway through the movie. They're monsters from outer space, I think, and it basically looks like a brain with the spinal column still attached, like it's this misshapen snake or something.
Oh.
And
Nice.
the effects are very dated, but it's stop motion of these brains. It's actually, the first time you see it, it's a little creepy. It just is. And I like that movie. That's one of those movies. I'm marking it down that I want to revisit that one. I haven't seen it in a long time. But okay, interesting. So I heard your review here. I'm not sure if you like this movie or not.
I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's a fun watch for something I remember seeing like pictures of in one of the horror books as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I was seeing it like back in the 80s, this would have been a mind-blowing film, but for a first-time watch, it is what it is. It's not aged well, but it's not the worst thing I've seen either.
Well, that would be a stretch at this point, Adam. Some of them you've sat through. That would be a horrendous film. That would be the worst movie you've ever seen.
I sat through Slasher, so shut it.
Yeah.
Okay, you win.
I could review Days of Thunder on the next.
All right. So, is it time for grading?
Yeah, I'm ready to grade.
Okay, let's get the grade book out.
So,
right,
I'm going to give Tim's history lesson an A.
Yeah, you know it.
I'll give The Frozen Dead a C.
A C. So,
yeah,
is this available on stream? I thought I found it on Prime. I think I saw it.
I had the DVD of it just because our local library had it. I've never seen it, so I'm going to borrow it from the library.
I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people forget you can see a lot of great horror movies just by jumping at the library. And they give them away for free, everybody.
There's a lot of good things at the library.
Yeah.
Get your learnt on.
So, all right. Fantastic. Well, we're going to move on then. And we're going to go to you, Tracy. Tracy, what have you been watching?
The Toll.
The Toll.
Okay, why is it not going over there?
And it was written by Mike Nader and directed by him. So, it's about a woman who orders an Uber. It's kind of like a supernatural thriller. You know how I love those.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she orders an Uber, and, it's a woman who's coming to visit her dad, and it just so happens, she must have kept the red eye because she picks up the Uber, and she's on a long trip to her father's cabin in the woods. And it's a gentleman Uber, and it's just her. So, it's kind of a little creepy for her. And she even mentions at one point, this is kind of like a scenario for a woman to get killed in the car. And then he's like, yeah, well, this is kind of like an Uber driver getting killed in the car kind of scenario. So they just go back and forth trying to create conversations for the long drive.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, something comes out of nowhere. And then later on, you find out that from some witch woman, I don't know what she was, to be honest, but she comes to tell you all about the Toll Man. And he comes back for those who hurt him, because I guess the guy hit him, but the guy thought it was an animal, but it was really the Toll Man. So the Toll Man starts to come after them, but it's psychologically in the beginning. And I'm not going to ruin the rest for y'all. So what's your questions? Come on, hit me with some. Let's see if I can answer them right.
Well, I'm looking through here. As everybody knows, I like to do. I check the IMDb while I was going through.
So the
And
trailer really gets you. I'm not lying. It gets you in the beginning
Mhm.
because it really does look interesting. But as it goes on, you're like, I
Okay.
don't know.
I'm seeing most of the actors in this are primarily TV so
Yeah.
far. But James McGowan is in here. And he was actually in Suicide Squad as Panda Man. I don't even remember Panda Man. So I have to ask our resident DC fan, do you remember Panda Man in Suicide Squad?
No, I do not, but it does not surprise me because Suicide Squad, it seems they were just like, hey, let's throw anything together and see what sticks.
Yeah, they were throwing the spaghetti against the wall, as they say.
For sure.
I haven't seen that.
It's a movie that was directed by a guy, and then they brought in a trailer group, and they directed it. And it feels like a movie that 3 different directors took sections of the film and put together.
But at least the new one should be good, directed by James Gunn.
I have hope that he can turn things around on that. Because
and they got better actors, I feel, as well.
I don't know. I thought Will Smith was okay.
I think anytime you can, well, specifically the actor they upgraded Will Smith to, I really think is a great actor. So I'm excited.
Who did they go to?
Who did they go with?
I don't
Was it
know.
Idris Elba?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, Idris Elba. He's a great
Idris
I
Elba.
love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an upgrade for sure.
So
well,
I think,
don't say for sure because I actually saw The Dark Tower, and he couldn't save that.
Oh,
you know. So
I saw The Dark Tower too, and it wasn't. I don't know why it got so much hate. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
It wasn't the worst thing. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, it just was blah, but I find a lot of Stephen King adaptations to kind of be blah. Maybe I'm just used to it.
You know, that's actually.
I'm in agreement. I believe that's true.
Has anybody watched the new Stand, by the way, yet? That's streaming.
Oh, I didn't know it was.
Yeah, I think it's on CBS Interactive or something.
No, I have
Adam usually knows this. Do you know which one it's on?
If it's CBS, it's probably Paramount Plus.
Okay, I'm doing the search. We all know I'm going to.
I haven't dug into that. I got it, but I haven't really messed with it yet.
Yeah, I've looked at it a couple of times, and the fact they don't have where you can build like a watch list like Netflix and everything kind of takes me out of it because I don't want to spend an hour trying to find something when I can just curate my own list.
Yeah, I get that.
I need a list of just the services I fucking subscribe to so I don't forget about them.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because while I'm a fan of the Mick Garris version that was done, I always felt they were held back by it being on ABC back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can only do so much with it. But they got James Marsden is doing Stu Redman, but I cannot find anywhere on here where they're showing this thing. I think it was originally CBS, but it probably did move over to Paramount. It definitely was produced by CBS.
It's on Paramount Plus. I just Googled The Stand Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
What is the better streaming service to have now? There is just too many.
I mean, for me, I watch Shudder a lot. Like, their price is cheap. The wife watches Disney Plus a lot. We have Hulu and Netflix. Don't watch those a ton. Peacock's been pretty solid.
Well, Peacock just got all the WWE stuff came over on there. That was their big acquisition.
Having two services for the price of one now.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Discovery Plus is what I use the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, I find I'm still an Amazon Prime guy because I have a Echo device, and I use that for music.
Prime is a
second, get for free.
Close second, for sure. I am a big fan of Prime.
It's super easy to use is one of my pluses on there. It's got the watch list feature. It's got a lot of the stuff I want.
You ain't lying about that Amazon. That's easy on for people like me, you know, inconsiderate people. It's very simple to figure out.
All right. Well, let's not forget this. Let's get to the grading here. You thought you were off the hook.
I'm not off the hook.
You are not.
I'm not. Questions. Let's go, Tim.
No. The question is, what are you grading this thing?
I'm going to C. It's a C. You know why I'm going to give it a C? Because I'm not sure if I'm going to see it.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Thanks for that. Let's get things going over to Mike. Mike, what have you been watching?
So I decided, I remember when this was announced, I think this got held back due to COVID.
Happened?
What?
I got Wrong Turn, and all the Dana Andrews pictures are coming out. Keep talking. I don't know what's going on.
Alrighty. Wrong Turn. I think it got delayed from COVID because it was made in 2020 but released in 2021. 17 years after the original. Now, has everyone seen the original Wrong Turn?
Oh yeah, I'm actually a big fan of that movie. The original one, anyway. I thought the makeup effects were very good in that first one.
Adam, did you enjoy the first one?
I didn't love it, didn't hate it. Had kind of been there, done that feel for me, but it's better than some of the other films in the same vein.
Right. Tracy, have you seen it?
I haven't, guys.
That's cool. So yeah, that one was 17 years ago. Elijah Dushku was the star.
Hold on, did you say 17 years already? Holy
yeah, it was 2008.
cow.
Wasn't the dude from Dexter in that too?
Jeremy something was in it.
I'm on it. Hold on.
I'm thinking of Desmond Harrington or something like that. He played like one of the cops in Dexter, I think. One of the main cops.
I never watched Dexter.
It's good stuff.
They're coming back with Dexter too. Anyway, I don't want to get off.
They're always coming back with whatever you say. Name a movie. Go ahead, name a movie.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, they're making a remake.
I wish.
Actually, that one, it's interesting you would choose. They are making a remake.
Well, I will watch it.
I know you will. You'll probably be there the first day.
I love it.
Okay, so what was your impression of the original Wrong Turn?
I thought it was fun. I thought for the time the effects were decent. I agree with Adam. It did have a been there, done that feeling to it. But I think that's because we just are around horror so much.
I was about to say, it's pretty tough with this crowd here.
Yeah.
To have something where you go, that is completely new and different.
Correct. I agree.
By the way, yes, that guy was in Dexter. He was Detective Joey Quinn. And he was in 70 plus episodes, so he was a regular.
He was definitely a regular.
Yeah, Desmond Harrington. And Jeremy Sisto was in there too.
What else was Jeremy Sisto
Jeremy
in?
Sisto, that's the guy.
Jeremy Sisto was in May.
Clueless. He is in Clueless and Dead and Breakfast.
And
Clueless.
Suburgatory. He was in Suburgatory.
Yeah, Suburgatory was great.
But have you guys ever seen the movie May?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an under-talked about horror movie. I think that's just fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's a very good film.
Yeah, it is.
So, so they decided, I don't understand why this has become a thing where they are remaking films that aren't even 20 years old. This is not the first one. They redid
Spider-Man did ones that weren't even 5 years old. So
right. They did this with Cabin Fever, so I just don't understand why it needed to go that route.
I think they're thinking the originals won't appeal to a younger audience, and that's why we're seeing an influx of remakes.
Yeah, that makes sense,
I think it keeps coming back to it's less risky to use the same title that you've had before than to go and make something new. And you can get insured, you can get investors when you say, hey, this is a remake of something. Because there's a certain amount of people that are fans of the first movie that are going to watch this, even though they don't want to see it. They'll watch it just so they can complain it isn't as good as the original. But either way, they get the money,
Right.
Yeah.
So, the basic premise of this film, if you want to compare it to the original, you can take from the original 20-somethings, hiking, and death. Those are the three things that you can take from the original.
Okay.
That is all they have in common. That's it. The story could not be.
Are you sure it's a remake? Or did they just use the same title? Because I've had a couple movies that I've watched recently that have the same, name as a movie. And I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, and I'm not. But I know there have been some where it's like, well, it's got the same name, but literally they changed everything.
Right. So I don't know if this is a reimagining or a rebooting. I'm not quite sure. They even went to the point of they changed it from West Virginia to Virginia. So they have this group of 20-somethings, and of course they, ignore warnings and they go off of the trails in Virginia to go find a Civil War fort, and that's when things go wrong. The group of kids is the essential, stereotypical each type of kid. You have the geek, all that kind of stuff. So it's very, very formulaic that they're using. I wrote here, they have a drone camera and they are not afraid to use it. It's true. There's a lot of drone footage. So looking back at the original, there was a lot of, which I assume was maybe drone footage or helicopter footage, I don't know, of woods in the original. So throughout the film, there were throwbacks to the original just slightly. Like at the end, they kind of poked fun at the original, and it was well done. It wasn't, out of place or anything. I thought it was well done as far as like a little joke goes. But the thing that I felt with this movie was, okay, it has the name Wrong Turn, but I listed 5 or 6 films that I was like, oh, that's from that, that's from that, that's from this, that's, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like they took ideas from all these films and they just squished it into a movie.
Well, I just found an article on this, and I got the scoop here. It is not connected to any of the direct-to-video sequels of the original Wrong Turns. It is the first Wrong Turn movie of any of them that was shot in the United States. 1, 2, and 4 were shot in Canada, and 3, 5, and 6 were in Bulgaria.
Oh,
this is the 7th Wrong Turn film, and it is a reboot. They're saying they are, so that's a remake is the other word to call it by. And it's only the second Wrong Turn film that was released theatrically, which I find interesting because there isn't a whole lot that is going out theatrically. This is one of the films that hit the drive-in.
Oh, okay.
In Australia, they actually called it Wrong Turn: The Foundation. And it looks like Matthew Modine was in here, huh?
Yeah, I didn't get to that part yet.
Okay. Well, I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah. I know what they're doing by saying the foundation, but I don't want to talk about that because that's going to be a big spoiler.
Okay.
So Matthew Modine is in it. He plays the father of the main character, and he got old. I will say that.
He was in that shark movie, 47 Meters Down, and yeah, he was looking his age.
Yeah, he looks it.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember Vision Quest?
I just got Vision Quest from the library, of all things, for you to bring up. I have not ever seen that movie, and that's on my list of shame.
Isn't that the wrestling movie?
Yes. He's wearing his aluminum suit, running around. Cougar in it.
Wow.
But yeah, he's actually pretty good. He's a good actor. And they didn't give him garbage to work with, I didn't think. Like at the beginning when this started, he's pretty much the first actor that you come across, and it looked a little low budget. And I was like, man, you're looking old and you're taking any movie you can get, I see.
Yeah.
But as it progressed, it definitely got better and felt like an actual film. And so I kind of take that statement back that I was thinking that he was taking any film that he could get. So it takes a little time to set up what's going on, but it sort of breaks up. So you have the beginning of the film, and then it goes to 6 months earlier. And then you go to those events, and then it goes back to present day is sort of how the film works.
Okay.
So it's actually, I like how it worked that way. You have to watch it to understand why it worked well that way. Because sometimes directors try to do that and they really fuck it up. You know, it's just like, man, you should not have done this. But that's just my point of view. So we get to the first kill, and you don't have to wait too long. I don't like films that drag it out, and then it's kind of like a disappointing kill. But the first kill scene is fucking brutal, dude. Absolutely brutal.
Really?
And this is not gore for gore's sake. It's just what would happen to you if this happened. You know what I mean? They're just showing you what would happen. It's just not gratuitous gore. It's mostly special or practical effects. There are some gunshots that are CGI and some other deeper things that are CGI, but most of it is practical effects, and it's good. Whoever did the practical effects, bravo, because they did a hell of a job, because there's a lot of close-up shots, which from talking to filmmakers, I know those are really, really hard to get, and it looked really good and authentic. Well,
I mean, the original Wrong Turn, I think the thing that everybody eyes came out of that was the makeup was good because it was Stan Winston.
Right.
Did the original. So I'm glad to hear they said, hey, this is a film series that is built on makeup. We're going to spend some money on that.
No, I definitely think they they spent a ton of money on that. I don't think they skimped on money at all for this film, to be honest with you. The let me see where I was going with that. Tim, what did you just say? I was trying to.
Well, I think the production shots are really well done, and sometimes just from the production shots you can tell that a movie is just going to be absolute garbage or not. And
right.
It looks pretty good. You know, things are lit properly.
I was going to say it's lit properly. Now, this is a longer film. It's just a hair under 2 hours. But
2 hours is still workable.
I was a little hesitant at first. Not that I wasn't going to watch it, but I was like, but it went through and it didn't feel like 2 hours. I never looked at my phone. The story was compelling. It kept me there. The first wrong turn for me was fun. It was a slasher type film. You know, it was the gore, all that kind of stuff. But this time, it seems like they really wanted to add a story to it. They took a lot of time to, I don't know, really put some thought behind what was going on while they were hiking and all that kind of stuff. There aren't many faces that you're going to recognize. One of the main characters in it is from We Are What You Are. We Are What We Are. I don't know if anybody's seen that film. It's about cannibals because they have to eat. It's pretty good. But he's in it. Other than that,
gives you something to chew on.
What?
Nothing. It was not worth repeating.
Yeah, so it's a much deeper story. And I don't.
You know what I saw on IMDb here is one of the gals, Edith, is the name of the character. She is played by Daisy Head. That is the daughter of Anthony Head, who you know from Repo to Genetic Opera, but also was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
Which had Eliza Dushku was in that originally. So a little bit of a connection to the original film.
Right.
Are you impressed that I figured that out during the review?
That was
Come
great.
On.
Woo! That was awesome.
Dun, 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 good job.
So as I was going, the film was going on. I was going to say, okay, we had a good kill here, a good kill there. As the film went on, the kills just kept getting better, in my opinion. Just super well done. Again, to the special effects crew, like they nailed it. Like you said, Tim, they knew what the film series was based on, and they really went for that. But I have to say the storytelling is sort of a whole entire series of twists and turns that you don't see coming. The ending is something that I was kind of shocked by. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did not see it coming in 100 years. And it was amazing. Totally fit the entire film. So, yeah, I
this
was
is starting
not
to sound a little bit like a rave review.
I didn't think it was really going to be. I was like, it's a reboot, remake, whatever.
Right.
But I really think they really put a well together film out for everybody. I mean, it had a story, it had characters that it wasn't to the point where you hated any of them and you wanted to see them get killed. There wasn't that annoying like Franklin from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but they gave just enough time to get some, something established with the characters. And I think it was important to do that once the story was set in motion. So again, I do have to mention the ending one last time because totally taken aback by it. I can't say enough really about it.
Wow.
Yeah, the way it was shot. I mean, again, score. The score again in this film was pretty spot on.
Wow.
I was pretty impressed with it.
I'm a huge fan of movie scores.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of juxtaposition going on of like things you're seeing on the screen, and then the songs that they're playing just shouldn't match up. You know what I mean? But sometimes in films that's done really poorly. But when it's done well, it's awesome, and it was done well in this film. So I was I was expecting to. I wanted to really kind of go back to when I hated movies a lot, and people seem to like that more than the ones that I enjoyed, and I thought that was going to be the case with this. And
I sometimes wonder if you're picking movies just because you know you're going to hate them.
Like, I just know people enjoy that, and you know, I like to give people what they want sometimes. But
oh my God, did you just say that?
Yeah,
He did. I heard it.
Maybe the whole thing is, you know, people can change.
Right? Shit. So yeah, this one is one that I cannot hate on really at all. I was pleasantly surprised. I rented this on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $5.99, and I'm glad I rented it and supported the filmmakers, because if they make a series based off of this, I'm down. I'm curious to see where it goes. And the character, the main character, the actor that portrays her is pretty spectacular. I think for the horror genre at this time. So might be just what it needs. You know.
So I hear you leading up to it. So what's the grade on this one?
I'm gonna give it a solid A.
You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah, man. I was really not expecting
what
to
the
get
hell
this review.
Somebody flagged the tape. We got an A out of Mike Exler.
I'm writing this one down. Watch Wrong Turn.
Yeah, it was really, I enjoyed the whole thing. Again, I didn't check my phone, and I enjoyed it. It just felt like a good horror film.
Isn't it funny that's become a thing where you go, I know I liked the movie because I wasn't reading my phone.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I didn't even think about, touching it. And again, it's just a great
The chat room is worried about you. Is that really you, Mike? Can you say something that only Mike would say?
Suspiria sucks.
Okay, it is Mike. All right. Fantastic. Well, thanks for that. I think that's going up on my list because Mike hates everything. So this is a big change. All right.
I've already written it down.
Yeah, I'm a little bit stunned, to be honest. All right,
me too.
Let's get things going with my movie of the week, and I might be the last person on earth to finally see this movie, but I watched Train to Busan from 2016. It's a Korean film. I think it's important to say. With a movie like this, I did watch the dubbed version. I wasn't going to sit there and do the reading. And I had the 5.1 surround sound on, and usually on a dubbed, that it doesn't really work too well. This was a good dubbed 5.1, so I was glad to hear they had surround effects and that sort of thing. This movie is the 6th largest South Korean movie ever made. It made $93 million worldwide, folks.
It's a ridiculous amount of money.
It is basically what everybody says that it is. It's zombies on a train. That's the movie that they made, and that's what it is. These days, when you say zombie, you do have to explain. These are the fast zombies, not the slow, shambling zombies. I prefer to call those the fleet-footed zombies or the reanimated instead, because Reanimator was the first, as far as I'm concerned, with the fast speed freak type of zombies. I like in this movie, I like that the look of the zombies, it wasn't about green makeup or weirdness with the makeup. It was more the movement that the zombies had. They had a very specific way that they were moving around. And that was interesting. I also liked that they had a lot of times where these zombies would fall from high places and obviously all their bones broke. And then they would kind of reconfigure themselves and be ready to go again. That was a pretty neat way to do things, where they had been badly injured and would just get back up and start running around. I also feel a lot of people like these horror movies that are happening on a plane. I actually think the train is a good place for a horror movie, because you have access to telephones, but you still can't just jump off. And they're much larger. Anybody that's traveled on a train has traveled on a plane. Planes, you are, shoehorned in those things. In a train, you actually can walk up and down the aisleways without it being, ridiculous. So I like the idea of this being on a train instead of trying to do some plane thing. It seemed larger because of that.
I have a question for you, Tim.
Yeah.
Under Siege 1 or 2? Under Siege 1 was on a boat.
Yeah.
Under Siege 2 was on a train.
Well, Under Siege 1 was also well written and good acting.
It's true.
Under Siege 2 had terrible acting and wasn't well written.
I always consider Under Siege the original a Tommy Lee Jones film, and the second one is a Steven Seagal film.
It's a Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey film. Gary Busey is excellent in that frickin' movie.
That movie's, I will say it is a fun watch.
It's really it's more entertaining than it should be. I put that movie up against what was is it Sudden Death, the hockey movie that Jean-Claude Van Damme did?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that movie, I always say that's one of those movies where it's like, okay, we're going to do Die Hard, but we're not quite going to go all the way, because like in Sudden Death, it's like they said, okay, we're going to take what this genre is and we're going to just water it down by a factor of 1. Okay, so it's a cop. Nope. Let's make it a firefighter. Okay. This firefighter, he gets caught at a sports arena, probably a football arena. Nope. Just water it down a little bit. Okay, we'll make it a hockey arena. All right. And he's going to take out the president of the United States. No. How about the vice president? Okay, we'll go to vice president. If you watch that movie, think of it in that way, and you'll see a lot of times it's like, oh, they're just like walking back one step from where you think they're going to be to try to throw you off. I like that movie. It's better than it should be. But
I love the movie.
All right.
I have a love-hate relationship with that movie because they dropped the helicopter in on the ice in the Civic Arena, and it fucked up the ice for the rest of the season. They had so much trouble in that area with the ice. That's just a side note.
Well, the movie is forever, though. The ice grew back, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah. Okay. So why didn't they just go out there with a bunch of water cans? They're having trouble with the ice.
Well, the problem, the Civic Arena was like 1,000 years old.
Well, okay.
So.
Well, then you can't fix anything once it gets past its expiration date.
It's over.
Yeah.
It was close.
So, yeah, and okay, so I talked about the train. The dubbing, the voice performance were absolute crap. They were terrible. But the screen acting was actually well done. I don't know that it was well done enough where I'd be like, oh, I should watch this again subtitled. Screw that. The movie wasn't quite that good. I did like the action was very frantic and it was well staged. It came off as the movie World War Z was trying to be and didn't go so ridiculous with the CGI. It was like somewhat in the realm where it wasn't just a cartoon. It was extremely unsubtle about being a parable about being selfish to the point where it was just getting ridiculous. They kept saying, okay, everybody, here's the moral of the story. Everybody listen now. And I was like, oh, stop it. There's talking down to your audience and then there's treating your audience like absolute idiots.
But what if they are idiots, Tim?
Well, that could be. It did remind me, this is one of those movies that it was almost, a great movie that kept reminding me of great movies. It reminded me of Runaway Train a number of times. It reminded me of Silver Streak. And I think a lot of you know the more recent sci-fi flick Snowpiercer. It had a lot of similarities to Snowpiercer. But I'm curious if you guys had seen Silver Streak. I'm guessing you've seen, right?
Yes, I have.
I think that's the best of the Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor films.
It's an excellent film.
Yeah. But Runaway Train. Have you guys seen Runaway Train?
No.
Have you? Adam, you've seen it, right?
No.
Really? Wow.
No,
How about you,
no,
Tracy? I'm holding out hope.
Let me
here.
look it up, Tim.
Runaway Train. It was 85. Yes, it was 85. Had John Voight and Eric Roberts.
It sounds familiar.
Rebecca De Mornay was in it too.
Oh,
My God.
It's based on an Akira Kurosawa film. It is. It's an amazing flick. It's an amazing flick. I
have seen it, but it's been a very long time.
Yeah, it's an action movie from 85 that everything isn't over the top, but John Voight is just amazing in it, and it's probably the best movie with Roberts in it. That's his best performance ever for Eric Roberts was in Runaway Train, and it's just a very well done film. I don't think it gets a lot of love these days because it does have the corny 80s action vibe to it, and people see it as that, but it's really worth checking out. Chat room is asking me, has there been a cruise ship zombie movie? Does anybody know? Has there been a cruise ship zombie movie?
Ghost Ship, isn't that one?
That's ghosts, not zombies.
Oh.
Actually, that would be interesting because, there's all the stories of there was the Star Princess that went around during the beginning of the pandemic, and a lot of people got sick on that particular cruise ship. I know,
Tim,
having been on cruises. Yeah.
there is a 2010 film called Zombie Driftwood where two metal fans battle a cruise ship full of zombies.
Really?
Adam.
So it's been made.
Booze and bagpipes.
What's the name of this movie again?
Zombie Driftwood.
Zombie Driftwood.
According to IMDb, it has 2 out of 10.
2 out of
Nice.
10. So that must be a high production value film. Actually,
And then I guess there's one called Dead on the Water, but I think that's a book, so never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, Zombie Driftwood. There is a zombie cruise ship film.
Wow. That's impressive. Well, in some ways, Speed 2 is kind of a zombie cruise ship movie, just based on some of the performances on that one. I actually, that's one of those movies that I put in every so often. I think the stunts are great. I just think the lead actor is atrocious. But I kind of like Defoe in there. I kind of like Defoe, and I don't know why. I shouldn't. And I feel bad about it, but I do like it.
You should feel bad.
Yeah.
You should.
Speaking of bad, the end of Train to Busan.
Ugh.
Terrible.
Thank you.
Terrible.
Thank you for saying. Thank you.
I thought the movie was going along pretty good.
Yep.
And then it gets to the final sequences. And I'm going to say pretty well, we keep showing the scene up here, so it isn't a spoiler anymore, where all the zombies are holding on to the train that's speeding away. Well, the rest of that sequence is basically fighting the zombies on that one remaining train. And then there's a coda at the end. Now, the entire fight on that last train, I don't like. But then they put a coda in there that's reminiscent of the original Night of the Living Dead. But it freaking sucks. And it's terrible. And it screws up the whole... It actually would ruin Night of the Living Dead for you. It would ruin it. I feel bad for anybody that sees this movie before Night of the Living Dead, 68, right? 68.
Yeah.
Terrible movie ending. So that kind of leads me to a difficult thing. I kind of liked a good portion of the movie. I do believe I'm zombied out, but I kind of liked a good portion of it. But that ending is so freaking weak. I didn't know. The other thing that's interesting is, unlike a lot of zombie movies, this movie isn't too gory. Yes, there's death and there's murder and mayhem and that, but it isn't the I'm going to eat somebody's intestines, ripping a person in half and body limbs coming off. It wasn't that stuff. It was more of an action adventure type zombie film, which that was a different take on things. So I don't know. I'm going to give it its grade. I really don't know what to do as far as a grade with it. I guess I'm going to say if the ending didn't happen, it's a B+. But I have to take something off because the ending is so bad.
Yeah.
Here's an idea of how bad that ending is. I'm giving it a C-.
Oh.
Yeah. That's how bad that ending is.
Ain't watching that.
It dropped it not even just shy of 2 full letter grades.
Oof.
The ending just destroyed that film, man. It just, ugh.
That I hate when endings
Now,
up the whole thing.
heads up, everybody. There is a new Train to Busan. Train to Busan 2 Peninsula is now available. It's out there. And I have it sitting in my queue. And here's the thing. I'm kind of thinking it's probably going to be okay because, like I said, probably 85-90% of that movie I liked. It's just this little ending portion that I didn't like. The problem, though, is, too, I'm zombied out. I have made a declaration to myself. I will not watch more than one zombie movie a month. I just can't do it anymore. It's not my favorite of the horror movie genres anyway, but there's just too many of them. But I do think I will give Peninsula a shot, probably before a lot of other zombie movies, because like I said, I enjoyed a good portion of this flick. So that's where I am with that. Hey, folks, you know what time it is. It's time to take a look at, where is it? There we go, at our website and see what's going on the old OWC. Of course, we have our announcement about tonight's show. Glad to see that came out. We have a review from the Crypt Fingers. Is that a Shudder again, Adam?
Yeah, it's a Shudder original, I believe.
Okay. We have the last edition of Dead on the Bases. We have another Dead on the Bases coming out on Thursday. We'll be doing live here on Twitch. I did an article on Sergeant Bilko.
Love that movie.
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Did you get a chance to read the review?
Yeah, it was well done.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the original source material?
No.
It's almost impossible to find. I was searching. I was lucky enough to watch it late nights back in the day. But the closest you can come is watch the movie. It's a mad, 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 mad world. Phil Silvers has a big part in it, and he's basically playing Sergeant Bilko. And you'll get a feeling, and as good as Steve Martin is, he's not Phil Silvers. Phil Silvers is even more ridiculous. It's really awesome. And then we have an interview with Justin Seaman here. And you review Violation. That's a Shudder original, it says here. Yep. We have some new trailers that you got links to, Adam. And that's our front page. So we got a lot of content continuing to churn out on otherworldlyculture.com. Remember when we hardly had anything coming out? Now it's jam-packed, everybody. Check it out all the time.
Monday, Horror Realm Radio returns.
What? Really? That is so exciting. There are people literally dancing in the streets.
We'll be talking about Dawn of the Dead, original versus remake.
That sounds like a great. That's a fantastic thing. I don't know how I feel on that. I think they both have their strong points.
They do. They both have strong and both have negatives, for sure.
I mean, the remake does have one sitcom star in there that makes it. I think he's got the most fascinating story arc in the whole thing.
Dude, I can't even pretend to watch that show that guy's in, because I see him only as that dickhead from Dawn of the Dead.
Do you really? I think he is so talented.
But I don't watch that show at all, and I see what he's doing, and he's a good actor. But again, my brain's like, I can just see him like twiggling the keys. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, that's kind of what's so amazing about that.
So when is it? My brain just does that.
Now, when is it coming back, Horror?
Monday.
Monday sucks. Monday sucks. It's Monday. 4 more days.
Yeah.
Woo!
That was not easy. All right. And we want to remind everybody to check out Why Is That One Coming Up? Why is that one coming up? That didn't go right. Let's try this. There we go. You can check out Tracey at her website, tracydeleon.com. But what we recommend whenever it's an actor or actress, the best thing to do is click on their IMDb page every single day. Get those numbers up for our actors and actresses. That makes them more available to folks that are funding films. They look at that stuff. So click on there like I do every day, right in the morning. Open that Tracey website. You can bookmark it. Click on it a lot.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I think that's everything for tonight's show, and we're just about on time. That's amazing. Remember, you can check us out on social media. Adam's always got stuff going on there. Let's see. One of them is at Radio Other. Is that Twitter? Is that Radio Other?
I believe so.
And the rest are all at Otherworldly Culture. You can check those out. You can also send email to everybody on the show by sending their first name at otherworldlyculture.com, and it will get to them. So go ahead and send those out to us. I want to remind you all to have a fun and safe Easter and have your peeps and all that good stuff. And hang in there, Pumpkin, until our next show, coming very soon. And remember, as Alfred Hitchcock once said, there's no terror in the bang. It's in the anticipation. It's in the waiting. When you aim for horror, make sure you're dead on. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed tonight's program.